check, check, check.
Shana Tova, everyone.
Is Michelle still muted?
No longer.
You are not muted. I'll double check. You're on. So your mic is fine.
Is it right if I put this iPad over there by your book?
Shana Tova.
One at the end of it.
Absolutely. You can make changes.
That was me, sorry.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova. It's good to see you. Happy New Year. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
It's good to see you.
Nice to see
You look perfect in that chair. Nice
I'm
chairs.
only staying. I'm not staying here the whole service.
Stay. Stay. It suits you. You want to play any welcome music? So are you going to play any welcome music? I don't know. Ask the bossy bossy.
Want to start with Hine Matov?
Yeah.
Isn't that what you said?
I don't know. I'm just improvising here. How are we doing on time? It's 7:01.
I didn't say word.
tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, 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 shevet achim gam yachad. Manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
I have to be honest, it feels a little awkward and a little disingenuous to wish you each a Shana Tova. Even though, of course, I do hope with all my heart that each and every one of you know sweetness and blessing in the coming year. It feels weird because we sit here in this beautiful space for our first high holidays in our sacred home. But others are underwater and without power because of the recent hurricane. And others welcome the new year in bomb shelters throughout Israel as rockets just bombarded them. The word Shana Tova does not seem enough. So this year, I wish us a Shana Yoter Tova, a better year. A year where war ends and hostages are returned. A year where every Jewish student on a college campus feels secure. A year with more peace in our hearts and joy in our midst. A 13th century piyut, which is a liturgical poem titled Achot Katana, the little sister, which many Sephardi communities begin their Rosh Hashanah with, seems fitting to begin our observance of Rosh Hashanah this year. The little sister, her prayers, she prepares and proclaims her praises. Oh God, please heal now her ailments. Let the year and its curses conclude. With pleasant words she calls upon you, and with song and praises for such befits you. Why do you avert your eyes? Look, enemies devour her heritage. Let the year and its curses conclude. Tend your sheep that the lions dispersed, and pour your wrath upon those who say destroy. Your right hand's foundation vine they have breached, and plucked its fruit, not even leaving her tiny grapes. Let the year and its curses conclude. Stand her up from degradation to lofty majesty, for in the pit of exile her soul has been melted. When the baskets are elevated, her heart is outpoured. Among the poorest of the poor are her dwellings. Let the year and its curses conclude. When will you raise up your daughter from the pit and from the dungeon? Will you break her yoke? May you act wondrously when you go forth like a hero to bring an end and conclusion to her ailments. Let the year and its curses conclude. Be strong and rejoice, for the plunder is ended. Place hope in the rock and keep God's covenant. You will ascend to Zion, and God will say, pave her paths. Let the year and its blessings begin. As 5785 begins, let us join in prayer meditation, and song as one community. The books that will be our guide through this prayer journey are called Mishkan HaNefesh, the dwelling place of our soul. Some pages we will pray together, and others you will have the opportunity to contemplate on your own. Those prayers we will do collectively will also be available on the screens. Use the words and visuals on the screens to allow you to go deeper in prayer. We celebrate tonight a new year, a year full of potential and possibilities, a year where we will continue to grow closer as a community, a year where we will strategically look towards our bright future, a year where we offer gratitude to each other, a year where hopefully the curses will conclude and the blessings will begin. As we welcome 5785, let us return to who we are, return to what we are, return to where we are born and reborn again. Page 6. We welcome Rosh Hashanah with the lighting of our festival candles. We join together on page 10 as I invite Janet Bonaventure and Maya Jelinek to join us to light our festival candles.
Creation's brightest light, the mystics say, was hidden at the dawn of time. But on this sacred night, this night of hope and joy, a glimmer of that light is here. In candles flame, in children's eyes, in eyes aglow with wisdom's light. It shines in the faces of the ones we love, in grateful hearts, in tears of loss. It lives in memories of goodness and in our own desire to do right, to try again, to build anew, to ask forgiveness and make peace. We enter this new year and look upon the beauty of these lights. So may they days of awe renew the light within us.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, etzivanu levatikne shel yom tov. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam,
continue reading responsively on page 12. To everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to gather round the table with loved ones and friends, a time for song and silence, for prayer and confession to open the heart, a time to retreat to our sanctuaries within, a time to renew the life and spirit of our community. This is the season of hope, like mist rising at sunset, like dew descending at dawn. Our hopes beautify and nourish everything they touch. Our hopes make us partners in creation, pursuers of peace, people who aspire to a world of justice. As we turn the page to page 15, I invite Paul and Stacy Dampf to join us up here to open our ark. Or Susanna. She looks like Stacy, right? I also invite Steve and Mark, who are sounding shofar for us, to join us up here. Page 15, I invite the congregation to please rise. At the new moon, at the full moon, for our feast day, sound the shofar, for that is the law of Israel, the way of the God of Jacob. Hallelujah, B'teka shofar, praise God with the blast of the shofar.
Baruch atah Adonai, shobei kol torat amo Yisrael berachamim.
Blessed are you in our lives, Adonai. You hear with love the sound, true voice of your people Israel. You can face that. Tekiah. Beautifully done, beautifully done. Okay, close the door. You may be seated. It is my honor now to welcome Steve Cavalier, our president, who shows so much passion and commitment to our congregation, to offer us words for the new year.
Shana Tova. Good Yontiv. Happy New Year. We welcome all of you, members and guests, to our first high holiday services in our new building and campus. For us, this is the culmination of 5 years of work and effort. We started seriously talking about a unification 5 years ago. Together, we have been through JSAC, committees, task forces, interim rabbis, and almost 3 years ago, the unification. We had to learn how to work together, operate a congregation, and worship together. We decided on where to locate, and we ran a successful capital campaign. We hired a rabbi And with Rabbi Smiley, we hit a home run. Thank you, Rabbi. We designed and built a new home and did so within our budget. And now here we are, our first Rosh Hashanah in our new sanctuary. These past years have been quite a wonderful journey, and I am joyous and thankful that we are here together. Jews in almost every synagogue in the country tonight, or maybe tomorrow morning, or maybe on Kol Nidre, are hearing an address from their congregational president. Tonight, I have the honor and the privilege to deliver my third and my last holiday message to you. Over the past 3 years, I have come to understand and appreciate what an incredibly diverse group of individuals we are. We fill every age bracket. We represent every possible family situation. We come from many different backgrounds. Some of us can read and pray in Hebrew fairly fluently, and the language is dear to our hearts. Others of us prefer services with more English. Some of us are Jews whose lives revolve around our affinity for Judaism, while others feel challenged to relate to Jewish teachings. Some are at UJCBR events weekly, seeking to understand our Jewish heritage and identify with it, and some to increase knowledge, some to express our observances and spirituality. Some of us come to have lunch and play mahjong. Other of us come a few times a year. We seek many different things from our synagogue, rabbi, staff, and leadership. But tonight, we are all here seeking connection and meaning. We all, I believe, are proud to be part of this wonderful community. I believe we all want our amazing congregation to continue to be successful. We are also here for those students who come to LSU and other schools and need a Jewish home. We have had many students over the years develop a connection with our community and decide to stay in Baton Rouge. Some are now among our leaders. We need to be here for those who come from traditional Jewish backgrounds, from classic Reform backgrounds, and for those just starting a Jewish journey. We need to meet the needs of interfaith families, and we need to welcome and embrace those who perhaps have been marginalized by Jewish communities in the past. Membership in a synagogue is not like membership in a country club. We don't join in order to receive a certain set of goods and services. We join a synagogue because we believe in supporting Jewish institutions. We join this synagogue because we care about the future of Judaism in Baton Rouge. We want to provide a Jewish home for current generations and leave a legacy for future generations. Even if you decide to come to the synagogue only a few times during the course of the year, UJCBR is here for you when you want to come and at those times when you need to come. Membership entitles you to have a voice in what we do and how we do it. This is precisely what is different from getting your Judaism online or obtaining a Jewish fix at an a la carte organization. Eating out can be fine. You can have an excellent dinner, but it's not like a Thanksgiving meal cooked in your own kitchen and celebrated with friends and families. We endeavor to put out a large, all-inclusive welcoming mat, our arms wide open to greet you, and provide a hospitable tent to accommodate all who wish to join us. I assert that an important challenge we also face is to attract those Jews who remain unaffiliated, and there are many. We must be about people, not only programs. We must create relationships, not only transactions. The trick is, how do we accomplish all of this? Developing quality programs and experiences that appeal to such a broad range of people presents real challenges. To paraphrase one of our great sages, Taylor Swift, we need to keep trying and keep trying something new. We have been doing that here at UJC. Just look at all the activities surrounding these holidays as an example. To operate the congregation and provide our many activities, services, and possibilities requires money. That's the simple fact. At UJCBR, we have decided not to have mandatory dues, but to ask members to make an annual commitment from the heart. The income from our members' annual commitment funds about 60% of our budget. This percentage is very typical throughout the United States. Why only 60%? Because we want membership to be available and affordable to anyone. However, the remaining 40% must come from other sources, and this important high holiday annual appeal is the most important. Even though I'd much prefer not to have to talk about finances tonight, this is the night we are all together and we have the largest crowd. This is the time I must ask you, plead with you, to generously and as generously as you can support our annual high holiday appeal, moving towards a strong and vibrant future. 100% of our board has contributed. Our goal is for 100% of our membership to make a gift. Pledge an amount that will truly honor your belief in our Jewish future together. We have many ways to make it easy for you to give. You can contribute on the website, by mail, in person, or the QR codes that you found in each one of your seats. Every gift is important. Every gift is appreciated. Finally, I ask you tonight to become what I am calling a high donor. The word Chaim means life, and Chai is the number 18. If each donor, and I believe every family will make a gift, if each donor will simply add Chai, add $18 to whatever you plan to give, or if you've already given, add another $18. This can add another $5,000 to our campaign, and that extra amount, your extra Chai, will make a significant impact on UJCBR. Rabbi Harold Kushner has said that Judaism done right has the power to transform our lives and the world into the kind of world the Holy One had in mind when God created it. I believe that at UJCBR, we do Judaism right. Hopefully, with your help, we can continue to do so for many years to come. Again, Lashana Tova. May you and your family have a happy and very healthy year. Thank you.
Steve, I just learned something new about you. Before, I never knew you were a Swiftie. I'm sure my daughter will love talking to you about Taylor Swift at another time. We turn now in our prayer books to page 17. I invite Eric and Patty and Leo to join me up here on the bima to open our ark. On page 17, I invite you to please rise. Here I am. So poor in deeds, I tremble in fear. Overwhelmed and apprehensive before you, to whom Israel sings praise. Although unworthy, I rise to pray and seek favor for your people Israel, for they have entrusted me with this task. Therefore, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, God of Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, Adonai, Adonai, merciful, gracious God, who inspires awe, I pray to you for success on my path. I pray for myself and my community. Do not hold them responsible for my wrongs and offenses. May my deeds cause them no shame, and may their deeds cause me no shame. Accept my prayer as though it were offered by one more worthy of this task, a scholar, proficient in prayer, unblemished in character, pleasing in voice. Let love be our banner. Let it banish our wrongs. May Israel's strife and misfortunes be turned into joy, renewed life, and peace. Love, peace, and truth, may they prevail among us, and may there be no impediment to my prayer. Adonai, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, God of Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, great, mighty, awe-inspiring God Most High, who said to Moses, I will be what I will be. May it be your will that my prayer reach your presence for the sake of the righteous and blameless, the honest and pure of heart, for the sake of your glory. You hear your people's prayer with compassion. Blessed are you, the one who hears prayer. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotinu ve'imotinu, yehi ratzon shenizkei levirchotecha, b'shanat chameshet alafim shiva ma'ot shmonim v'chamesh. Our God and God of our ancestors, may we know your blessings in the year 5785. Eternal One, bless us and the whole house of Israel with renewed life, happiness, and peace, comfort and courage, resilience and strength. May the words of our heart be acceptable to you in the new year that stretches before us. We are forever grateful for the gift of life. We remain standing as we turn to page 20 and join together in Baruch Hu, our call to worship. You may be seated. We continue reading together page 22. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your great name fills the universe with majestic might. Your word creates twilight and dusk. As your wisdom opens the gates of night, your discernment separates the changing seasons and causes the passage of time. The stars arrayed across the sky reveal your design. You roll out the cycle of darkness and light, shaping day and night. You sweep away day and carry the world into nightfall, setting day apart from nighttime. You are God of all we can perceive, and all that is beyond our perception. Living, eternal God, be our sovereign to the end of time. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai, creator of twilight and dusk. Page 25. Shema Yisrael, hear the voice of Hannah. There is no one holy as the Eternal. Truly there is none beside you. There is no rock like our God. Shema Yisrael, hear the call of Moses. Embrace and carry in your hearts this day, in heaven above, on earth below. Adonai is God, there is none else. Shema Yisrael, hear the words of the mystics. There is nothing but God. No place and no person is empty of God. The whole earth is suffused with God's glory. Hear, O Israel, God's hands are our hands. God's work is our work. God's voice speaks through us. God is one when we are one. As we turn to the words of Shema, I invite you to rise if you wish.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed.
You may be seated. We continue chanting together, page 28.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol lebavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'chayu hadvarim ha'ele asher Anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha V'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'veitecha, u'v'leftecha v'derech, u'v'shokbecha u'v'kumecha, u'kshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha, u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yetem kedoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim Lihiot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet.
We read responsively on page 33. To break the bonds of anger, to be generous of heart. To break the bonds of envy, to serve one another in joy. To break the bonds of fear, to live with courage and strength. To break the bonds of loneliness, to receive a hand of hope. Released from the darkness, our people found their freedom at the sea.
Mi chamocha v'helim Adonai, mi kamocha nidam ha'kodesh, nor raiteinu u'sefele. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, mokei hayam lifnei Moshe.
We move from prayers of freedom to prayers of hope. Hope for God to protect us with peace each night and waken us to another day full of strength. Page 36. page 41. You can't rush a prayer to God. If it comes from the heart, it will rush out on its own. Speed through receding galaxies or silences in the soul, and God will hear. Honesty with all, but speaking to God is different. Mind the soul. For your coal and gems and regular earth, no pretense, and God will hear. Don't force the prayer or string words together. Pause. Perhaps better not to pray. Silence will be a message of awe, and God will hear. Now step off into the very deep beyond the way of prayer. We glimpse unknown magnitudes of God, no more, or we would be stunned into silence. Except that love makes itself small, we could not pray at all. We enter now our Amidah. Page 42 and following, we will chant these words passed down from generation to generation together, and I invite you to please rise.
Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Haggadol, Hagibor V'Norah, El Elyon, Gomel Chazanim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chasdel Vot V'imahot, Umevi Ula Livnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava. Zochriנו לחיים, מלך חפץ בחיים, וכותבנו בספר החיים, למען האלוהים חיים, וכותבנו בספר החיים, למען האלוהים חיים. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם לזרוע צרה. אמן. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה כל התרב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מחלקל חיים בחסד, וחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופים מרפא shifshim hakadosh, ukdoshim echo yom lehu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, hamelech hakadosh.
You may be seated as I invite Eileen, Jack, and Lindy to lead us in prayer.
How do we sense God's holiness? Through awe. And so, in your holiness, give all creation the gift of awe. Turn our fear to reverence. Let us be witnesses of wonder, perceiving all nature as a prayer come alive. We bow to the sovereignty of your strength, the primacy of your power. We yearn for connection with all that lives, doing your will with wholeness of art. Awe-inspiring is your creation, all-encompassing your transcendent name.
How do we sense God's holiness? Through honor. And so in your holiness, give your people the gift of honor. Bless with praise those who praise you. Bless with hope those who seek you. Give your believers a basis for faith, true happiness for the land of Israel, true joy in Jerusalem. And may the sparks of David, your servant, soon grow bright enough for us to see a beam of light into darkness, a promise of perfection.
How do we sense God's holiness? Through righteousness. And so in your holiness, give the righteous the gift of a vision bright with joy, a world where evil has no voice, and the rule of malevolence fades like wisps of smoke. Good people everywhere will celebrate the stunning sight of arrogance gone from the earth.
Page 52, we read together near the bottom of the page. You are holy, your name is awe. There is nothing divine beyond you. As the prophet Isaiah taught, the source of all might is exalted through justice, the God of holiness made holy through righteousness. Baruch atah Adonai, ha-melech ha-kadosh. Blessed are you, Adonai, holy, sovereign. Page 57. This is the season of God. This is the season of our humanity. And this is the day when one word stands at the very center of Jewish prayer, Mloch. 3 Hebrew letters reign over space and time. Mloch. Reign over the infinite expanse. Show us your reality. Help us see our finite place in the cosmos that is our home. What is God's sovereignty? What is God's rule? It is the rule of unity by which we sense coherence in the universe. It is the power of relationship, relating every image of God to every other image of God, and to every facet of nature. Sunshine and ocean waves, heartbeats, honeybees, the stuff that stars are made of. It is the ultimate power that governs our lives with wisdom, compassion, truth, and kindness. Together, in this season of God, may we breathe new life into the ancient name, Melech HaOlam, and may the ruler of the universe breathe new life into each of us. Page 60.
Ritze
read together page 64. And for all these gifts, God of majesty, may your name come to be blessed and praised, our gratitude a daily offering until the end of time. Inscribe your covenant partners for a life of goodness, and may all life resound with gratitude and faith in praise of your name. God, you free us and strengthen us. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulacha na'et lehodot. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose goodness deserves thanks and praise. Page 66.
Shalom Rav, O Yisrael, Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, O Yisrael, Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech hador lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech hador lechol hashalom. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael. Bechol litovcho שבשומרך. בספר חיים ברכה ושלום, ברכה ושלום ופרנסה טובה. ברכה ושלום ייזכר ניכתב לפניך. אנחנו וכל עמך בית ישראל. Baruch atah Adonai, oseh hashalom.
As we pause for silent prayer, what will be on my mind is those who are suffering as we welcome this new year. Avinu Shabashamayim, O Heavenly One, let our prayers ring out from Louisiana to parts of North Carolina and Tennessee where friends sit without power and homes have been destroyed. And let our prayers ring out all the way to Israel, about 7,000 miles away. Let our brothers and sisters feel our distant presence and know we are with them. We offer nichumim, comfort, to the Avelim, our mourners, whose losses are immeasurable, whose lives have been scarred. We pray for a refuah shlema, refuat hanefesh, a refuat haguf, a full and speedy recovery for all of the wounded in body and soul. We long for the nedarim, our missing. May they be found and all hostages still in Gaza returned speedily. We send Gevurah strength to the soldiers and brave people of the IDF and those helping with the rescue efforts here stateside, hoping the words of the prophet come to fruition through them, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. And each one shall sit under the vine and under the fig tree, and none shall be afraid. Dear God, be our partner as a Rofei Cholim, a healer of the stricken, a Menachem Avelim, a comforter of the mourners, a Matir Asurim, a liberator of the captives. Od lo avda tikva tenu, our hope is not lost. Lihiot am chofshi be'artzenu, we will be a free people in our land. Adonai oz le'amo yitain, God strengthen your people Israel. Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom, God bless your people with shalom, with peace. We continue now with a moment of our own silent prayers. Many of us, as we welcome the new year 5785, might be hopefully feeling a little bit of a sense of joy and a lot of shalom, a lot of peace. But we know there are those in the room with us tonight, of our friends, our family, our community, and across the world, who are having a little bit more trouble finding their shalom, finding their peace, because they suffer illness. Illness of body, illness of spirit, or illness of mind. So we turn our prayers now to those in need of healing. We as a community think of those whose names are listed on the screen. I invite you, though, to say a name aloud if you'd like, either one on the screen or one from your hearts, as one community now. We offer this Misha Berach prayer of healing for all who are ill.
Misha Berach Avoteinu, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Misha Berach Imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, Rachel.
page 75. We haven't forgotten Avinu Malkeinu. Though we've overthrown kings and we disobey fathers, and we have no great liking for absolute power, Akiva stood before you in a time of drought, and his words went up like a flame on the altar. Avinu Malkeinu, you alone are our ruler. Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion for us. He was humble and forgiving, so his prayer was answered. Tonight we speak again in a time of drought. Dry ground beneath us, no water, only rock. Not a hunger for bread or a thirst for water, but hearts that are longing to hear God's voice. For the sea of faith is all but gone, the tide's gone out on the empty beach. The world mocks our hopes and life tests our courage. Why do the wicked live on and prosper? Why are you silent when they prey on the innocent? And if your dominion is kindness and justice, why is creation in so much pain? Avinu Malkeinu, sustain our souls. Send rain to our roots. Help us find a way to pray. Make us humble and forgiving of ourselves and one another. Avinu Malkeinu, renew these words. Help us speak them with conviction and believe their truth. 100 generations have stood before the ark, and they lifted up their voices like flame on the altar, and they put their trust in kindness and justice, and they gave their strength to make the promise real. Avinu Malkeinu, we haven't forgotten. Avinu Malkeinu, bring us back to you. I invite Julie and Lily Tepper to join us to open our ark. And as we turn the page, I invite the congregation to please rise.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Kolenu. Avinu Malkeinu,
read together in the English. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, you alone are our sovereign. Avinu Malkeinu, for your sake, show us mercy. Avinu Malkeinu, act towards us as befits your name. Avinu Malkeinu, bring healing and wholeness to the ill among us. Avinu Malkeinu, allay the harshness of the decree against us. Avinu Malkeinu, inscribe us in the book of redemption and renewal. Avinu Malkeinu, remember our goodness and call it to mind. Avinu Malkeinu, act for your sake and save us. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, hear our voice. Avinu Malkeinu, we have strayed and sinned before you. Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and our families. Avinu Malkeinu, halt the onslaught of sickness, violence, and hunger. Avinu Malkeinu, halt the reign of those who cause pain and terror. Avinu Malkeinu, enter our names in the book of lives well lived. Avinu Malkeinu, renew for us a year of goodness. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, answer us with grace, for our deeds are wanting. Save us through acts of justice and love.
Avinu Malkeinu, Konenu Aneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Konenu Aneinu, Yimanu Masi.
You may be seated. On October 9th, Catherine married her beloved Avichai. But it was no ordinary wedding. Catherine lives in Jerusalem. They were planning a huge festive Israeli wedding. She shared on the Israel Stories podcast that aired on October 15th that she was worried about the weather being bad or someone becoming ill on the days leading up to her wedding. But a few days before the wedding, she was able to put all her planning worries behind her and just spend time with her family who had flown in from the States. She was excited to be a bride. She imagined waking up to a peaceful day where she was pampered and had everyone she loved in the same place. She said goodbye to her Avichai on Friday afternoon because they had decided they didn't want to see each other a few days before the wedding. Neither of them could have ever thought about what would ensue. Sirens woke her up on Saturday morning. Her first concern was for her family who came from America. She called them and told them that she didn't want them to worry, but she thought they were at war. People started messaging her to say they were thinking about her, and they were sorry that this was happening. And Catherine realized there would not be a wedding. Avichai's mother, though, told her, Lo dochin smachot. We don't postpone joyous occasions. So they went through with the wedding, even though it would be much smaller than they originally planned. The venue changed from a large wedding hall to a small park in the neighborhood. At first, Catherine shared that she didn't want to enjoy it. She just wanted to check it off the list. Catherine's friends reached out to ask for help from the community. Dozens of strangers showed up to the park. Photographers, an event planner, and a large group of local teenagers who raked leaves. As Catherine and Avichai left to go to the park, rocket sirens went off, and they made their way to the bomb shelter. Having a bride and groom in the bomb shelter, she said, caused quite a stir. Catherine's friends fixed her makeup through tears. After waiting the necessary 10 minutes and not hearing another siren, they continued making their way to the chuppah, to the wedding canopy, only to find that this tiny park in their neighborhood had been transformed into a beautiful wedding venue. Catherine and Avichai were married surrounded by a lot of people they did not know, including an elderly couple who had set up lawn chairs and clapped along with them throughout the entire celebration. The podcast ends by sharing how the wedding did not just help the bride, but it brought a lot of light and joy to a group of people, some of whom were strangers before this moment during a dark time. It has been a hard year. 5784 was nothing like we had hoped for or imagined when we sat together last year on Rosh Hashanah welcoming the new year. Just 3 short weeks after we welcomed the new year, the deadliest terror attack on Jews since the Holocaust happened. Anti-Semitism, which was already prevalent, continued to rise throughout the year. Jewish students on college campuses faced adversities like never before. Many of you shared with me that fear was keeping you away from celebrating your Judaism. Overwhelming feelings of dread, stress, and anxiety permeated our minds as we were glued to the various news sources, watching with bated breath to hear if another hostage would make it home safely. It has been a hard year. As we've experienced this collective trauma, my mind has been filled with dress rehearsals of tragedy. Celebrations, and I mean true celebrations, where our minds are filled with only joy, have been few and far between. Instead, my mind has been filled with thoughts which can best be described as the ones I had when watching Eliana, my daughter, sleep as a baby in her crib. While I watched her sleep, instead of reveling in the joy I had of being her mom, I made lists of everything that could go wrong in my head. We cannot continue living this way. We need to give ourselves permission to lean harder into moments of joy. Lo dochin smachot. We don't postpone joyous occasions. Society has taught us in many ways that joy is a fleeting feeling, and we need to have something to experience in it. Joy, though, is not something that just comes. Joy is something we work for. Joy is not a Band-Aid we put on when life gets hard. Joy is loving life even when your heart is breaking. Dr. Brené Brown, a New York Times best-selling author, argues that joy is the most difficult emotion to really feel. She says people are joy-starved because in a culture of deep scarcity, of never feeling safe, certain, and sure enough, joy can feel like a setup. We wake up in the morning thinking everything is going well with no major crisis happening. And then we honestly believe that some disaster must be lurking around the corner. Joy frightens us because it reminds us of what we have to lose. Joy floods us when we feel deeply connected to the people, places, and experiences we value most. Brown's description of joy is exactly how I have been feeling all year. On October 7th, I woke up to the same horrible news as the rest of you. Went through the motions to get ready to lead what was supposed to be a festive Shabbat morning and end of Sukkot service. And on October 8th, I woke up and headed to the airport to go on a family vacation we had been planning in detail for months with Josh and Eliana to Disney World. While there, all I could think about was what was going on in Israel. I was physically in what's called the happiest place on earth with the people that I love, but our celebrations seemed fake. Now, almost a year later, I realize that I should have given myself permission to celebrate. At a time where we feel like we are in a never-ending circle of the same and are experiencing so much loss, anxiety, and fear, we still need to give ourselves permission to work for joy. Lo dochin smachot. We don't postpone joyous occasions. In my conversations with people, I have learned that we are actually beginning to feel bad about experiencing joy. Judaism is a religion of expressing joy and reminds us that joy is integral to our life experience. Our traditions are based on 613 commandments given by God listed in our Torah. Every commandment, except one, is an action. The only time we are commanded to feel, not necessarily to do, is when we are commanded to be joyful. This feeling is so important that in Avot de Rabbi Natan, a section of our Talmud, we learn 10 different Hebrew words for joy, each word expressing another feature. Since we have so many ways to express joy, it would be a shame to suppress it. We must share our happy moments with others. If we feel bad about our successes, if we stop sharing our good moments, we will rob the world of joy. Lo dochin smachot. We don't postpone joyous occasions. Smachot is the plural for one of those Hebrew words listed in Avot de Rabbi Natan. The singular might be more familiar to you. Simcha. The first time simcha appears in Torah, it reminds me that we are not the first generation of people who experience joy, as Brown describes, as foreboding. Jacob has married Leah and Rachel. They, along with their maidservants, give birth to 11 sons and 1 daughter. Then Jacob and his family leave his father-in-law Laban's house with great wealth. Torah tells us, though, that Jacob and his family tried to flee without telling Laban. And when Laban found out, he asked, "Why did you leave? I would have sent you off with joy." And Jacob responds that he was afraid. He was afraid of how Laban would react to their leaving. He thought his father-in-law would take away Leah and Rachel from him. Everything seemed to be going well for Jacob, so he made up a disaster as to not allow himself the ability to feel joy. We are not the first generation, and I assure you we will not be the last, who shy away from joy in difficult moments. But we can promise ourselves as we enter 5785 that we are going to give ourselves permission to lean into joy. We are going to give ourselves permission to believe lo dochin smachot. We don't postpone joyous occasions. How? Brown says she will never talk about joy for the rest of her career without talking about gratitude. Because for 12 years of research, she has never interviewed a single person who talks about the capacity to really experience and soften into joy who does not actively practice gratitude. She shares a personal story about her own family. She says that she recently instituted a new activity at dinner time. Before they eat, they go around the table and each share something they are grateful for. At first, it was an uncomfortable activity for her children, but it became so routine that on the nights when they were rushing from one activity to the next and forgot to do it, her children would be the ones to remind her of its importance. Because this simple act of daily making time for gratitude has brought more joy to her family. To find joy, let us commit to being grateful. Brown also teaches that we miss joy because we look for it in only extraordinary moments. She compares joy to twinkling lights. She says, twinkle lights are the perfect metaphor for joy. Joy is not a constant. It comes to us in moments, often ordinary moments. Sometimes we miss out on the bursts of joy because we're too busy chasing down extraordinary moments. Other times we're so afraid of the dark that we don't dare let ourselves enjoy the light. A joyful life is not a floodlight of joy that would eventually become unbearable. She believes a joyful life is made up of joyful moments, gracefully strung together by trust, gratitude, inspiration, and faith. Our faith gifts us with the tools we need to experience joy in ordinary moments. Lo dochin smachot. We don't postpone joyous occasions. As each week with its stresses and busyness draws to a close, Shabbat arrives. Shabbat offers peace, a holy pause from our day-to-day lives. Shabbat also brings with it much joy. The food we eat, the rituals we do, the connections we strengthen, all are aimed at increasing our joy on Shabbat, so that we can carry some of that joy with us into the next week. But Shabbat is not the only time in the week Judaism gives us to feel joy. Our tradition teaches that we should say 100 blessings a day. That is a very Jewish way to say how important that practice of gratitude is that Brown describes. To find joy, let us commit to offering blessings and celebrating together. We are told in Psalm 100, Ivdu et Adonai b'simcha, serve God with joy, a phrase that reminds us joy is hard work. The Hebrew word ivdu shares the same root as the word avadim, slaves. We must labor at joy. To find joy, let us commit to putting in the hard work. And what I think is most important is that Judaism teaches us that joy is something that must be shared. Simcha in the Torah is never about an individual. It is always about something we share. The festivals, as described in Deuteronomy, are days of joy, precisely because they are occasions of collective celebration. The Torah reads, you, your sons and daughters, your male and female servants, the Levites in your towns, and the stranger the fatherless, and the widow living among you. Simcha is joy shared. Now, I don't expect each of us to just magically stop feeling the anger, frustration, and fear of living in this current time. But we must not let these emotions be the only ones we express. Recently, Josh, Eliana, and I sat down to watch the original Inside Out movie. In it, Joy must learn to step back and make space for sadness, anger, disgust, and fear. In today's world, I think we need to do the opposite. We need to teach our sadness, anger, disgust, and fear to allow joy to still shine. Lo dochin smachot, we don't postpone joyous occasions. As our emotions take hold of us because of the world we are living in, let us remember the words of Psalm 30. One may lie down weeping at nightfall, but joy comes in the morning. Let us collectively give ourselves permission to lo dochin smachot, to not postpone joyous occasions in 5785. Shana Tova. We return now to our Maksarim, our high holiday prayer books, to enter our concluding prayers. Words of Aleinu can be found on page 82, as I invite up Mitch Rayner and Elizabeth Clubb to join us to open our ark. Page 82, I invite you to please rise.
Haleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'tekin la'liot sebreshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishbachot adama, shelo sam chalkenu karem, v'gor aleinu kecho hamonam, va'anavnu korim, Mishtachavim modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu.
We read together on page 85. May the time not be distant, our God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when lies and bigotry shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. So may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your dominion be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever.
V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech olcho haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
You may be seated. As our prayers begin begin to draw to a close on this Erev Rosh Hashanah, we turn our thoughts now to our loved ones who are no more. Tonight, we remember those who've passed away during the past year. George Walker, Mark Cohen, Shirley Judge, Betty Simmons, Lee Kaplan, Joanne Bender, Leonard Knackman, Rowan Hausman, Maureen Corcoran, Lucy Silva, Larry Zachem, Richard Price Marcus, Eddie Goldman, Eleanor McKee, Faye Roos, Joseph Schieber, Elaine Kaplan, James Coker, Harry Saxey, Chuck Schwing, Carol Kane, Arlette Goldstein, Mordecai Rosenstein, Terry Stern, Jack Kahn, Leslie Weil Marcus, and Nancy Moore. If there is one you are remembering this evening, if you'd like to share their name aloud, I invite you to do so as one community at this time. For those names we heard aloud, those whom we hold in our hearts, those who've lost their lives to the situation in Israel, let us offer these words of Mourner's Kaddish, page 90, and I invite you to rise if you wish. Yitzgadol v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach hirote v'yamlich malchute, v'chayachon uvyomechon uv'chayet dekol beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'izman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei t'kudasha barichu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yahei shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'akol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'akol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'akol Yisrael ve'imru, imru. Amen.
Sikro nam levracha, may all their memories be for a blessing. As together we say, Amen. You may be seated. We continue singing together on page 94.
Thank you.
to enjoy the beautiful oneg. Thank you to so many of you for putting it together and for bringing treats. I know I have some kid friends, small friends in the room, so I'm going to invite all of the kids in the room to come on up and to meet me down there. We're going to go down here. Why don't we face our friends and family, though? Look at all our wonderful friends. I'm going to ask the congregation, on someone to take a little picture, to please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. L'chaim.
Yes, but I'm going to help us, friends. Okay, hold on. It is giant. It is beautiful. It is proud. It is from St. Bruno Recruit Company. Friends. Come on, come closer. Come closer. Don't worry, there's a clean one elsewhere. Closer. So I'm going to try something, friends. All of these kids are up here. Those in the front row, reach your hand out to one of the kids. Those in the row behind, reach out to the person in front. Let's enter this year as one community. So touch someone who's touching a child who's touching all of us as we join together.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lachem min haaretz. Amen. Yay! Oh, thank you. Likewise. Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much for your music. It's wonderful. Welcome back.
Oh, thank you.
Can I bring you a guitar stand for tomorrow?
That would be lovely.
I can.